Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Design Recharge. This is a special episode because it's a Saturday episode. It's kind of like your favorite TV show coming on Saturday, as well as they're regularly scheduled on Wednesday. But we're not going to do one on Wednesday, just so you know. We did one last Wednesday and Saturday. So special Saturday, and not just because it's special. We wanted to have two people here, and not just two any people, but two of my favorite people in the world. So two people who are these young, aspiring, amazing designers who really do a lot of good for other people. So Scott Biersack, right next to me, and then Eric Friedensohn, who is just a little further over. They could come closer together, but they're roommates, but they don't.
Our chairs don't like intertwine because we have the little the wheels at the bottom.
I thought it was because of the armrests. They weren't combining.
That too. Can these go up? No.
It's funny. His armrests are up, so it looks like the chair is always like partying.
Yeah. Anyway, so thank you guys for doing a Saturday episode. And somebody said move the couch up. The couch is occupied by Eric's cat.
Can you see it? Yeah. There she is.
If I was on the couch, I'd be like down here.
He's dead.
That's how I live my way down there. I'm on that. I'm pretty short. So, all right. So this is the cat you had that you still had from the fire,
Yeah, she's
right?
6 years old.
Survivor. So we want to, give her a little shout out.
Pocket is her name.
So,
yeah.
Pocket? Okay. Awesome. I couldn't remember her name, but we had a whole conversation about her the other day. Me and Scott did. So, so I'm going to start. I did send questions. I send questions every week. And so this week you got questions on Friday morning, I think. So, Eric, can you tell us how you and Scott met? Because Scott lived in Arizona and he was in school in Arizona. And Eric, you finished school a little before Scott?
Yeah, maybe? I finished in 2012. Yeah.
2012. Okay. And Scott finished last year in 2015? Okay. So how did you guys meet? And you could talk about internet meeting first.
Actually, I didn't meet Scott through the internet. I had no idea who he was until I met him in person, which is weird, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I meet a lot of lettering artists through the internet these days. But I have a friend named Will Pay, and I forget how I became friends with him, but I was hanging out with him in New York, and he's born and raised here, and he asked me to participate in an event called Uncubed, and basically it's a job fair / conference. It's cool. It's not like a typical job fair. They have like live artists painting big canvases, and they asked Will to be one of the artists. Will asked me if I wanted to be one of the artists painting. It was like a 4 foot by 4 foot canvas, sort of like Ink Wars at Creative South. But we had more time than an hour, which was good.
Yeah.
And
we had like all day.
And we could really draw whatever we wanted. There was a loose theme that was music, but we could do whatever we wanted with that. So I went there, and Scott ended up being one of the other artists.
Was it music?
I think it was.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. He didn't even follow the theme at all.
Well, if it was, I didn't follow the theme if it was music. That's okay.
So we posted a couple links to the things that we made. That was almost 4 years ago. So I'm not super proud of what we made.
This is one of them,
yeah,
right?
So
this
is
obviously
has nothing to do with music, but
maybe it's like music, on the whatever those things are called. I didn't ever play any instruments. Clearly.
Oh, you mean like sheet music?
Yeah, the bars of stuff. It sort of feels maybe musical. I don't know. I'm just trying to help you out there, brother. And now this one is Eric's. And I don't think you can play it. I don't want to touch it.
Yeah,
can you play it?
Oh,
yeah.
I decided to use a found object. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
So I decided to use a found object for this because, of course, I wasn't satisfied with the canvas for some reason. And, you could make it interactive. You can come up to it and spin it around. And when you get the puzzle correct, it says listen and feel.
Cool. That's clever.
Fun. The lettering was definitely not up to par. It was sort of rushed because the found object, like the records gave me some trouble, but it was totally fun, and I got to meet Scott. And then I guess you went back to Arizona pretty shortly after that, but you were here for a workshop, right?
Yeah, I attended probably a Ken Barber workshop at the time.
What year was this?
Oh my gosh.
2013.
30 months ago.
Okay.
So how long was 30 months? 2.5
I guess
years?
it was like
3.5?
4 summers ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Okay.
I think I was a sophomore or something in college at the time.
So you were taking a Ken Barber workshop. You had come to New York. Where were you staying? In a hotel, or were you staying with friends?
At this time, I think I was staying in a hotel because our mutual friend, Will Pay, that's how I met Will for the first time, because I followed Will on Instagram for a while. And so I met Will at this event, and then he was there as well. So that's how we all connected. I think we connected through the Uncubed event and Will Pay because we had our mutual friend. So at the time, I'm pretty sure I stayed at a hotel during this event.
So how many people did this, 4x4 or however big these panels were?
5 people.
I think it was like 5 people. Not everyone did lettering. Some people did
Weird stuff.
There was one guy that was using gold foil.
Yeah, it was strange. Yeah. Well, like what he was making was strange, not using gold foil. I couldn't even tell you what it was. I don't know what it was at all.
So it was just you, Will, Scott,
and then, like, 2 other people
and 2 other
did some weird
people.
stuff. I don't know what it was.
They were probably saying the same thing about
probably.
Eric's records. Did you see that? And that guy with the New York, I don't even know what he was musical or what it was. Anyway, so you guys met, and then you're like, hey, we're both lettering artists. And then you keep up on Instagram, or you start following each other or start talking?
I think we became Facebook friends shortly after. And then we probably just kept in touch through Facebook. And and then probably following each other on Instagram as well. Forming a friendship online afterwards.
Cool. So, and I think that's been a really big thing, at least when I've talked to both of you, and Eric, for sure, with you, you've kind of built this kind of other network, right? Online, that's these other people that you really work closely with, or you talk about your work with on a different level than just a regular, Instagram kind of level.
Yeah,
correct?
Definitely.
Okay, so Scott, you're moving to New York. You graduate last May from Arizona State University, and then you're moving to New York for what purpose?
I moved solely for the Type at Cooper program. So it's an extended type design program that essentially gives you a certificate in type design in a year. So, visiting New York City, I knew I didn't like a lot of things, but I told myself that I wasn't actually going to move there, and I also told myself that I wasn't going to go back to school. And then I did both of those things. Anyway, so I'm here for school, and then once school is done, I'm going back home.
So Kent wanted to know, what do you wish you knew before you got into the program?
I was thinking about that question a lot because luckily the way Arizona State was structured, we had a lot of that type knowledge already taught to us within our multiple studio classes. So, it's not necessarily type design focused, but I think the one thing I wish I knew before going in is how much work it truly is. So, when I moved out here, I wanted a stable job. So I was working at Stranger and Stranger for a bit. And then I realized that having a full-time job and then doing school part-time, it was pretty difficult to balance everything, as well as freelance work, as well as having a social life and all that stuff. So it's difficult to balance all those things. And I knew I had to make a decision okay, I made the move out here for school specifically. So I had to pick and choose school or working at Stranger and Stranger. And so sadly I had to quit Stranger and Stranger, but I'm doing full-time freelance now. So, everything's going great and I can't complain, but I do miss Stranger and Stranger at times.
Yeah, that's a really cool place to be. So, all right. So Eric, did you guys, you had already met in New York in 2013, but then you saw each other again at Creative South last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he came back to New York one more time. I think you stayed with Will that time.
Yeah, stayed with Will, met up with you.
And Winston.
Winston too. Yeah.
Yeah, we were hanging in my backyard at one time.
All right.
And then
yeah, it's all coming back to me.
yeah. What's that?
So what were you doing because you were working freelance, right? You were just kind of doing freelance last year, and when you guys decided to move in together?
Actually, no, I was working at an agency, but I was freelancing on the side.
Okay.
I wasn't sharing that much of the agency work. So most people probably thought I was freelancing.
Different agency than where you are now.
Yeah. I'm not at an agency anymore. So back then I was working at a company called MKG. I worked there for about 1.5 years. They do events and experiences. So I was designing, different kinds of environmental graphics for different brands. And it was a pretty cool experience. But when Scott was moving to New York, I was looking for a new place. He was looking for a new place. So while he and his girlfriend, Allie, were looking around for apartments, they stayed at my place. And of course, it was really difficult to find something that was a decent apartment within their budget. And, it was really funny, though, because they came here and they had such high expectations. They're like, yeah, we want to spend under this amount and we want to get, a dishwasher. And we hope, maybe there's like a laundry in the basement or something.
It's like asking for like a valet or someone to do a butler as well, right?
Yeah, high ceilings, really natural light. Like, we're gonna get all these things, Yeah. And what did you find?
We found some really like shit hole in the wall places, just garbage places that like ideally, they could function, but I wouldn't want to live there for an entire year. So
that was when he was looking around with Allie just for a place for them to, and I was looking for a place just for me. And Pocket, of course. And
but Pocket's not giving you anything in your pocket to help pay for the
That's true. But she does cook a mean steak. So at that point we decided that it might be a good idea to look for a 2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
And they went back to Arizona, unsuccessful.
Yeah, we didn't find anything.
The trip was totally wasted. That was the only reason you came, right?
Yep.
So after that, I looked around in like a bunch of different neighborhoods and ended up finding this place and just hopped on it really quickly. It was definitely a wild goose chase to find it, but I really am happy with the place that we found. I'm definitely going to.
And you have natural
light.
light.
We got a skylight right above us.
That was one of the big selling points for sure.
Yeah. It's funny. I never even saw the place until we moved in.
My old place was like in a basement and it was really dark and
it wasn't that bad though.
It definitely wasn't bad. But I really wanted some light, so that was like a big priority for this place. I'm definitely staying here after Scott and Allie go back to Arizona. Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask. So you'll just find another roommate?
Yeah, I'm going to find another roommate. I'm actually thinking about putting their bedroom up on Airbnb, which would be pretty cool.
Make a little.
Yeah, no dishwasher, by the way. I think Chelsea asked about the dishwasher. No, you can't get it all.
Right. That's Pocket. Pocket, you just stick the stuff down on the ground and she licks it
clean.
Right. Right. So I have a question that wasn't on the list and I don't know why I didn't ask it, but since Winston came in, it kind of reminded me. So Winston's in the San Francisco Cooper program and right. And it's an extended program, right?
So is Dave Bailey.
Oh, okay, cool. So,
me and old Dave.
I don't know. Okay. Yeah. You and old Dave. Okay. So why? So, that would have been closer for you for Arizona. Yes. So why New York?
Funny story. Literally like a month after I moved here, I settled in, everything was good to go. I saw Type of Cooper make a post. Oh, we have this new San Francisco program. And I just lost my shit because if I knew that San Francisco had a program, I would have gone to San Francisco. But all in all, it's like everything happens for a reason. So I don't mind it. I don't regret any decision I made. But yes, I probably would have gone to the San Francisco.
Okay. So Eric, you actually made some, you were doing some different things. You've done a lot of collaborations with a lot of other people, as well as you've traveled a lot. And so you got to travel And I can only imagine that him coming back influences Scott, and then it definitely influences you as you go. So can you kind of take us why was traveling so important, and then how you've been able to kind of manage doing collaborative work with other people?
Yeah, sure. So I feel like I've been traveling once every couple years for my whole life. My mom is really into traveling. She did a whole backpacking trip across Europe when she was finished with college, and that really inspired me, and she kind of pushed me to start doing it. And of course, it kind of becomes an addiction because the world, you can't see everything. So that's the reason that I like to travel. I'm just really curious about experiencing different cultures and different places, and learning about all the differences, because we take a lot of things for granted here. And going to a place like India was really eye-opening. I know that sounds like kind of cliche. Everyone always like goes to a third world country and like sees everything and comes back different, but it really is true. Like you see that stuff firsthand. It's different than seeing it in a photo or a video. And as far as the collaborations, I don't know how that started. I guess I'm a good like team player in general. You know, I don't know about you, but I used to play team sports and I always loved that. I don't really do that much anymore, but I guess my collaborations are my team sports.
Yeah, for sure. So you're doing a lot of, or what I've seen when I've stalked you, a lot of chalkboard stuff, right?
Yeah.
And Scott used to do a ton of chalkboard stuff. So, and I know that Eric, you want to do something with Scott, but Scott's just too busy, right? I'm just playing with you because you're working and everything. So you just haven't had time. So are you guys going to do something together before he leaves?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's up to you.
Hopefully, yeah. He painted a wall in his room with chalkboard paint. So maybe we could do something on his wall. That'd probably be easiest. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Let's take some pictures. Let's do it. Scott's going to be like, I'm never doing another interview with you, Diane, ever again. What is this? Okay. So Scott, how has living with Eric helped you grow over the past year? And can you kind of talk about some of the things that you've learned from Eric?
Yeah. I mean, especially, you know, like you mentioned, travel, like he's brought back stuff. He's sharing stories. That's definitely been helpful because like, I have these benefits. My mom works for American West, or American now. She used to work for America West, and it was U.S. Airways, and now it's American. So I have a hard time keeping it all straight. But since she works for American, I have the ability to fly for free, which is amazing. But I have to fly standby. So like, just hearing all his stories makes me want to travel too. Like I have the ability to. It's just a matter of finding the time. And I feel like that's the hardest thing, especially being in school. So I'm pretty stoked to like finally finish school in August and like probably do the same thing he's doing, start traveling and see the world, because the benefits run out when I'm 25, or it might be 24. Right. But either way, like time's counting down. So I got to do something about it. But I'd say the most beneficial thing has been him introducing me to the Slack group that. Did you start it?
Yeah.
Okay. That he started. I didn't know who started it, but so it's just a bunch of group of guys that, you know, you probably know every single one of them from Creative South. Except for the Verg. Except for the Verg. Yeah. Matt lives in Australia. Hey, Matt. I don't know if you're watching, but hey, Matt.
He's probably sleeping.
Yeah, he is actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, just being part of that group, being able to like bounce ideas off of each other. And
how many people are in this group? Because sometimes Slack can get a little big and it's a little hard to have a conversation or have a real kind of community or engagement, I guess. So how big is this
9
group?
people.
Is it 9?
Okay, so that's plenty small.
Yeah, we invited a couple other people. Like we had Will in there for a little bit, but he wasn't really using it much. It's sort of like if you're not going to show up and contribute, then why, you know, peace out.
Just get out of it.
But it's not just letterers, right? Like that, like Jeffy's a part of it.
It's pretty much all lettering artists except for Jeffy. And the reason that Jeffy's in there is because he was the first one.
We're not biased.
Yeah.
If we just happen to like hang out with our kind, I guess.
Okay, so you have this group, and how often? Because I think this is whenever I have talked to Eric, I think him and I talk about this, and then Scotty Russell, him and I have talked about this. That it's been such a really big part of helping you grow and get to that next space or pay, whatever. I don't know what my word is. The next place in your business or with your side project or with something else. Can you talk about that? So like Eric, take us kind of from the beginning. You started it when, and it was with how many people? And then you met online. What's so funny?
He's reading the chat.
Yeah, I was reading what Matt said.
Okay.
So it didn't start out as a Slack group, actually. It started out as just a Google Hangout call that I would have with Jeffy every week. And we were just sort of keeping each other on track with our projects and checking in because we both had similar values and goals. And after that, after that, Terrence joined us. He just, we told him we were doing it, and he's like, "Can I come?" And we just invited him in.
So what were your goals, and what were some of those values, and what were some of those goals? Because I think that's really, if you're not intensely seeking after this, it probably isn't going to be, it's not like a side project, right?
I would say so.
Yeah, I can't say exactly what my goals were back then because it was a long time ago. We do have notes and stuff from every week, which is pretty cool. But as far as the values, I think we're all just trying to make a business or make a living from our passion, first of all. And we also feel it's important to come at it with a standpoint of giving versus taking. So we're all trying to create something that's interesting or entertaining or valuable for anybody who finds it to be interesting, entertaining, or valuable. I mean, we're all kind of helping each other learn along the way. We don't have it all figured out or anything. Those are the main things I would say. And yeah, it was just a weekly Google Hangout video call for a long, long time, for probably over a year. And then at some point, once we had 4 people on there, I decided it would be good to have something to communicate like throughout the week, because we were only doing it once a week because we're trying to do Google Docs and it wasn't really that great. And
how did it change when you went to Slack? Because if people don't know Slack, my mom doesn't know what Slack is. So Slack is kind of an online thing that it's like messaging where you can type and share images, but it's more instant. And so you can,
it's sort of like a mix between a group message on a text message and an email chain. Because you can have attachments and review all the attachments. And there's also direct message channels. So if you want to direct message somebody, we have a general channel, a feedback channel, and then a random channel. I mean, it's not all business in there. It gets pretty ridiculous sometimes. Actually, most of the time. But what was I going to say? So yeah, Terrence joined us after Scotty joined us. We were like, all right, we need to get something in place. And I had heard good things about Slack through friends and through a podcast that I really like. So I started a little channel. And from there, it's just been growing slowly, but we're trying to keep it small because we don't want it to get too noisy. And if people are coming in there and they're not really using it, then what's the point?
So, but I guess I'm not asking people to join yours, but I'm saying this would be a really good thing for them to do. So really it could start with just 2 or 3 people, but do you still do a Google chat or a Google Hangouts like once a week, or do you do it?
It's gotten bigger, often? Like I said. So we don't all talk about every single thing we're working on like we used to. Mm-hmm. We do have another channel for accountability that I forgot to mention. That's really just a few of us. But the group chats are more just like hanging out, catching up, and talking about what we're working on if we feel like it. So it's gotten a lot more informal over time, actually.
So before, those group chats were really accountability, and now that accountability can be throughout the day instead of just once a week. So you have more of a relationship with these people instead of just hey, let's catch up on Saturday or let's catch up on Thursday night.
Yeah, we're all really good friends, but we all also know that we have goals, and we're not just here to catch up and do small talk and talk about whatever someone wore on some stupid show last night. We're actually trying to help each other. So when we get on the call, it's not just like I don't know. That's a weird example, huh? But I feel like that's what do people talk about normally?
That's all I talk about, so I don't know.
I just keep seeing Scott's shirt and it says 1991, and that's when I graduated from high school. But whatever.
Oh man.
Anyway, that's what he's wearing. So that's what I'm going to be talking about all the rest of the day. But you're right. So, but instead of like, hey, like we're looking for a place, instead of this kind of like issues with a job or issues with in life, trying to find an apartment, you're talking about something that, hey, here's what I'm going to do with my Optimus project. And what do you think about this? Or here's what's happening. So it's more geared towards what your passion projects were, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And whenever we just want,
okay,
even if we just need to talk through something that's difficult, I've definitely used it for that.
Mm-hmm.
It sometimes helps to just talk it out and get another opinion on it.
Like a life difficulty?
Yeah, like
Sure,
when Winston was moving to California, it was a tough decision for him. So
yeah, we all just like kicked his butt and he made the move.
And then he got his laptop stolen. That was so crappy.
I know. Yeah.
Anyway,
that's another story.
I know. Poor Winston. All right.
Well.
So Scott, studying typography at Type at Cooper program is different than just studying design as an undergraduate program. How would you describe what you're learning and how intense it is? And I know you've a little bit about the time constraint. So what?
I mean, for me specifically, ASU was not my cup of tea. I think it was because I wasn't interested in a lot of the things that they were teaching me, even though, the first 2 years are very fundamental. The last 2 years are like they give you these projects that you apply those concepts to. So junior and senior year was just a lot of shit that I didn't like at all. So
remember, my mom's watching. She's never heard bad words.
So. There's just a lot of poop that I didn't like, and nothing really resonated with me. I wasn't excited about going to school. I wasn't excited about any of my projects. But for some reason, like type just spoke to me. I can't give you like some really great answer. I just enjoyed typography.
But it wasn't like you weren't getting excited about design. Yeah. You were super excited about some parts of design.
I had to,
you just weren't.
Yeah, I had to put myself in this little space, this little niche of design as a whole, and typography, lettering, sign painting, everything typography related is pretty much what excites me. So, going into this program, I'm like super stoked to go to school. I'm super stoked to go learn about the history of typography because it's only about type and type design. I'm not learning about all this extra nonsense that I don't really care about. So it's been beneficial because it's nice that I'm excited to learn. I just find myself like eager to learn even more than I already was. So, I mean, there's that. But yeah, definitely it's I don't know if it's necessarily, they're both pretty hard in terms of like time and, time management and the amount of work, and like school is tough regardless. I just didn't know that this 1 year long program would be as hard as it is or as time consuming as it is, because it's just hard to balance everything. And even at ASU, I was having a really hard time balancing everything, because I had a part-time job there and then freelance and then school and then everything else. So it's just been a great opportunity, and I'm just glad I'm doing what I love to do.
So Eric does he come home and is like, oh my gosh, I got to tell you about this, whatever, right? Like this swoosh or swash or tittle or something, or has him going and then living with him, has that expanded your knowledge?
It's something like that. I wouldn't say that he comes home. That's just not his personality. This guy doesn't really like to share unless you ask him.
Yeah, if you ask me, I will share with you, but I don't just like come home and I'm like, dude, guess what I learned today? And just go into it. So
I do see him, what he's working on. We're in our living room right now, and that's where both of our desks are. I also have a desk in my room, but Scott's always working out here, and I can see what he's working on. So I'm always asking him, what are you learning? What are you getting feedback about? Because he's getting to interface with some of the most incredible type designers today. So I'm just trying to suck as much knowledge as I can while I'm living with him.
Well, that's good though. So it has improved. Do you think it's improved? I think your group probably has also improved your work as much maybe as living with Scott though, right?
Yeah, everything has an effect.
Or living
everything has
with
an
each
effect
other.
on it. I mean, even just being in this city, seeing all of the talent everywhere is huge.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say like what's been the most impactful on the growth, but
Sure.
it all contributes. Yeah.
Right. All right. So one thing I think that I definitely think that group of with Scotty Russell, and I've talked to Scotty, I'll make him meet with me on a Saturday sometime just to go over things or projects or something that's new. And you guys you're doing similar things, a lot of typographers, but a lot of illustrators and things like this. So, and you're all pretty young, I mean, you don't have anybody in there that's like my age, I don't think. And nobody graduated from high school in 91, right?
I don't know, maybe.
I think
Matt might
Matt's
be
like 35 or so.
Yeah, I don't know anybody's age, so I have no idea.
Anyway, it's no big deal. I'm just saying,
like
but
60.
So in a
Yeah,
way,
he's probably like 62.
So, but what I mean is you're kind of at the same stage in your life, except that guy, Matt.
Right. Yes.
Right?
Correct. I'd say so.
Matt's 40. Colin's 83. Okay. Well, then you're all at different stages, with including those two people. But so how do you think it's going to affect like getting jobs or doing freelance? Has that group helped you helped you either with side projects or like help you promote it, like with the Optimist project or something like that? Has that, because those people believe in your side project also. And because if you don't know about the Optimist project, it's a great project that Eric did or does still, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so, but has that group kind of like fueled your fire behind you and like helped you get the word out?
Yeah. I don't know if we definitely share each other's work, but really I think it's more about having people to pick you back up when you fall down. Because as creative people, I feel like we all have insecurities, from time to time. We talk about like, oh, you can read an article about the 5 ways to get over a creative block, but that's not actually true. Like these things come back over and over again, and to have people to talk things out with and to get feedback from is so valuable. I think that's the biggest thing, is just having a support group, really.
But it's also safe. It's not, that's what I guess, it may have started out with people that were more strangers than they were, but because you've been in relationship with these people, you have this trust factor now, and they're doing good work. So you value their opinion, right?
Yeah.
I know you guys are reading the chat because your eyes are like down there. I don't care. I'm thinking of what Matt's saying. Tries inserting link into Eric's Optimist stuff. Link turns into smiley face. What? I don't know.
The Optimist project is something I have on the back burner right now. I've been focusing on other side projects just because that one's really personal, and I don't want to make that into like my brand. I can talk more about that if you're curious, but the main project I'm working on is the Summer of Sketching.
And you've been doing that for a
that's
while.
on the third year now.
2 summers?
Yeah, third summer.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit more about
sketching.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some people might not have ever heard about it.
3 summers ago, I was really starting to take my lettering practicing more seriously. And I was spending a lot of time indoors, and I didn't really like that. I wanted to get outside and have fun in the summertime. I love going skateboarding, exploring the city and finding different places, and also traveling outside the city. So I wanted to combine the 2 passions of drawing and traveling and being outside. So I challenged myself to go to a different place every weekend and bring my sketchbook along with me. And I started sharing my sketches online and using the hashtag Summer of Sketching. And that was how it started. And over time, other people started using it. And I said, oh, well, maybe I should turn this into like a challenge. And I started asking people to post their sketches and go outside every weekend with me and meet up with me even. And last summer, I made it a little bit more official with like a giveaway. And this summer, it's taking it to a different level. So I'm doing a meetup pretty soon, and I'm starting to sell some branded products, pencils and sketchbooks. Oh, there we go.
And they kind of have this look. So you have your sketchbook, and then you'll do a piece, and you hold it up, and it's always kind of like that, right?
For the most part. I just feel like keeping some kind of consistency is good with it, at least for me.
Well, and it also shows people that you have gotten out. You are at a different location, which is one of the main
just
things.
Posting a crop of the sketch. Yeah, the context is so important because not only did I want to like go outside and sketch, but I wanted to go outside, be inspired by the environment, and then bring that concept into the drawing.
So how has, besides just getting bigger and getting more viral or other people more of a challenge, how has it changed you? Do you think what do you think
practicing the drawing always helps, regardless of if you're outside or not.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you are outside and you're not in a peaceful, quiet zone, which is hard to find in the city, there's some places, but you do develop an ability to zone into your work and channel other stuff out when you need to. Odds are like there's people walking around talking and you can't make a really great drawing if you're constantly being distracted by things, whether that's your phone or people walking around, or the weather is definitely a challenge sometimes, because in the summer it gets really hot here. I always encourage people to like go outside and draw, but I feel so bad for the people that just don't have good weather in where they live. And that doesn't have to be outside. I just want people to go.
Like
I want to encourage people.
Let me tell you.
Drip. You could draw with your sweat.
Okay.
Anyway, that was gross. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. No, I like to encourage people, if they can't go outside, just go to somewhere new, because that always generates new connections for me.
Right. Okay, so Scott, I'm going to go back to the group. So you're one of the newest members of that group, right?
Not necessarily the newest, but there was a couple that joined, but then I guess they left. I don't know where they are. They're gone.
But you're one of the newer people. You haven't been
right.
in it
I think I joined
long.
in maybe January or something. I'm not entirely sure, but.
But you know that you've lived together or known each other for 30 months, which I think is weird that you kept that number, but you don't know when you joined the Slack channel.
30 months was on that Instagram post.
Okay, well, I was like, how did we? Okay. All right, so I know, there you caught me. I really like these smaller groups too. And you knew most of the people, but they weren't like, oh, here's Scott, the new person, right? They kind of valued you for what you were able to bring at the same time. And I think that that's an important part, where it's an already established group, that anybody who does come in feels like they're
like part of it. Yeah, part
integrated.
Of the family. Like I already knew a lot of these guys. We met at Creative South, but before then, some of these guys I didn't even know who they were whatsoever. So being able to like join the group and then find out who they were and what their work is and who they are as people. And like, we all are just like, we're all incredibly like-minded people. So it's great to be surrounded by those types of people every day, because I hate being surrounded by negative people. So being surrounded by positive people and uplifting people is definitely beneficial to anyone's life. Even if you're not like trying to do work, just like being around positive people helps you as a person to be positive to other people, or, it's like a cyclical process.
So I think that's another important kind of one of the values, right, of this group, was that you weren't coming in and necessarily just complaining about things. I'm sure at times there are things, but it's more like, hey, I'm reaching out, I need some help, instead of just always being kind of that negative person, right? So, because I totally love the fact that you guys all are really positive people, and I think that's cool that you're there, kind of being each other's cheerleaders when you need to. So, so you don't have to give me an exact example, but what's a way? Because Eric, you said earlier that it's kind of like it's a good place where we can pick each other back up. So is that like if you were having something not happen in the way you had hoped, is that somebody who's like, hey, but look what you have done. Look what, somebody's in the group is reminding you of what is really great about what you've done, or what?
I think it's really interesting because a lot of times we ask questions, not just us, but we all ask questions, and sometimes we already know the answer, and we don't.
Yeah, we just want
to get affirmation from people, or we want to just hear that people agree or whatever. Maybe people just need to tell us, you already know the answer, follow your gut. When I was offered this job that I have right now, it was sort of a tough decision because I had quit a job a few months ago to start my own business. And, I set a goal. I wanted to do 6 murals this year. And I did one while I was traveling, which was awesome. Didn't get paid to do that. And I was hoping that these murals would be jobs. It wasn't, people weren't asking me to do murals. So when I got this job offer, that part of the description was doing murals. I was like, I guess I need to take this, but what about my business? I can still keep it going in the background, but it was a tough one. So I just bounced that off of everybody, and it seemed like the right decision, and I'm really glad I did it. And I can't say I wouldn't have made that decision without them, but it was just helpful in the moment to get some support.
So another thing, I think sometimes on social media, people can be really big critics. So say you're learning how to do something and then they're like, you did that wrong. You're using the wrong tool or whatever. Right? Because that happens because you're learning. But there's the other side is the people who never share anything because they're so afraid of somebody calling them out. Right? Of saying, so there was, with Ryan Hamrick, he was like, somebody totally called me out on that I was doing this wrong and I shouldn't have done whatever. And I was thinking about the Lululemon thing because it was a mural, and me and Eric had talked about this piece that Ryan had done. And I was like, oh man, that really kind of sucks. I was like, but you're learning, and it still looks awesome. The end product looks amazing. So just because we all get to the different, get to the end in a different way, it doesn't mean that my way's wrong or your way's right.
One of my friends recently told me, I was asking him the same question. I was saying, well, you don't have decades of experience with this. How can you confidently share that this is the way to do it? And you sound very confident in the way you're teaching. And you know what he told me? He said, it's okay to be wrong. It's totally okay to be wrong because people are better off learning from you as long as you're confident and you think you're confident about it, share it. And there are people out there that have really, they need to see these uplifting messages, even though, they need you. They don't need an uplifting message. They need you, because whatever you want to share, that's inside you. If you're hesitating about it, the world is better off with it. Even if it's wrong, it's okay to be wrong.
So you mean created wrong or something? Is that what you mean? Or what do you mean like wrong?
There are some things that are opinions, and there are some things that are sort of tried and true practices. And no one can tell you that your opinion's wrong. And if they do, then they're just a hater. And if there's a tried and true like practice, you're using that pen wrong or whatever, or you shouldn't be presenting your work in that way, then you learn as you go. And if you think you're doing it wrong, then you change. But if you think you're doing it right, you got to share it.
Well, and I think it's also about who is this coming from? Is this coming from somebody out of a place of love that really wants me to do better? Or is this coming just because they want something that I have, or maybe they're not really positive or something? At least that's what I've kind of come in, you know what I mean? It is, some people are just
there's
haters.
A lot of people, especially on the internet, because you're hiding behind an avatar, you can say whatever the heck you want and think it's like okay. But at the end of the day, like that person probably is a hater, especially if you're just going around on multiple people's pieces or YouTube videos or whatever the case may be. And you're just like hating on somebody for their hair or what they look like, or, you know, things they can't change. Like, I don't know. I'm straying from the topic. I'm sorry.
I also think that, no, it's all a part of the process. Yeah. Dan Lee, who's here right now, I think he posted something recently and he was talking about the creative process and how it's always a roller coaster. If you're making something that you're happy about or that you're passionate about, you're never going to be 100% confident in it when you're ready to share it. It's always going to be some self-doubt or you freak out and then you have to restart or crumple it up or whatever. If someone could link to that post, it was really well written and kind of funny. I made it life.
Yeah. But I think even me and Scotty Russell have talked about this where it's the trouble of, do I post that? Am I going to post it? I don't know. And it's kind of that back and forth where probably in your gut, hey, this might help somebody. So I tie my shoes wrong, but I get around just fine. And nobody's like, I mean, if you see me tie my shoes, which I'll make sure next time we're at Creative South that I tie my shoes in front of you and you can be like, I don't know how you've got through life, Diane. 43 years you've been tying your shoes wrong. But I still walk. I'm not tripping down the road. And my shoes actually stay tied pretty well, Anyway. But I think that I think it's good to see how other people do things. And I think, Terrence said earlier, like, what pen? And it does get to be frustrating. Oh, well, what pen is that? Or what, how did you make, like, if they just had this magic pen, they'd be able to draw like you, right? Or what kind of sketchbook are you, or where were you? I want to go to that spot and sketch, right?
It's definitely an interesting phenomenon. I mean, you see that outside of art as well. And you see it in business, like what are the hacks or the tricks that you can do to grow a business or whatever. It's definitely, I've been thinking about that a lot lately because people have this imagination as if they know that it's not going to change and it's not going to make their work better or it's not going to help them as much as just showing up and practicing art. Really what they're doing is they're hiding from doing the productive work that they need to do.
So like Bob's here and I love Bob and I think what Bob did and I think kind of what Scott you did in the beginning with your 365 project, you were really and you love Bob too. But showing that because if you go back and you see Bob's from the first September, I think that's when you started, right, Bob? It was so like from September to April was amazing change. And that's probably how it was for you too, just because you're doing it every day. And I think that it's about putting that time in and there's nothing that you can do except put the time in. And I think that's what summer sketching is like, right? It's just like commit some time and get out there and do
I'm
this.
like actually thinking about getting a tattoo that says use what you have because it's such a good reminder. A lot of times we think we're waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect environment or tool or whatever. And you really just have to work with what you have because there are people out there that are doing way better than you and they don't have all the fancy things. They don't have a perfect space,
Or the right tool, right? Or whatever. So what would you say to somebody like me who's like, I'm just learning kind of how to illustrate and I'm not comfortable with it. And it's always that, should I push? Should I push, should I take a picture of this or should I not? Like I used to just scratch things out. And so it's really a struggle not to do that. So what would you say for people who are in that kind of like, I haven't done it long enough to be as okay with sharing the yucky?
You want to answer that?
I mean, yeah, for me personally, I know it's hard. I think it's something that you have to figure out in yourself as a person, because some people are totally cool with sharing. Some people are like, should I? But at the end of the day, I think sharing is like the best thing you could do because you're not only doing it for yourself, you're getting feedback from other people. You're getting your work seen by other people. You could get freelance work from this. Like, even if you hate it yourself, somebody else might like it. If somebody post a comment and say they hate it. Somebody else might comment and say, oh my God, I love it. So it's like, sure, it's like, there's like pros and cons to everything in life, especially with something like that. But from my personal experience, I always say, share it, just share it, because I feel like nothing bad can happen other than people saying, other than people voicing their opinions. Like, you're not going to die. You're not going to get hit by a car. I mean, if you're texting and posting at the same time, I don't know, but you know,
right. Texting and driving,
posting
right?
and
Posting
driving,
and
right.
driving,
Something like that. I think just sharing it, nothing bad can happen. So I say just do it.
I'm trying to pull up an image right now because one of my goals this summer with the Summer of Sketching is to get better at illustration as well. Because I always default to using letters, and I've been working on something that has some illustration in it, and it's not very good, but I'm probably going to share it eventually.
I can't wait to see it now.
It has some lettering in it. It's not just illustration, but yeah.
So, but to me, when I did, Jason Frostholm interviewed me for the Creative South podcast, and that like image, the 3,000 by 3,000 pixel image, was like, I mean, I knew I had to do it, but right. What was I going to do? Other people have this look, and I like created a dog robot. I mean, yeah, oh yeah, it was that kind of like, this isn't going to be as good as other people's, and I think for me, it's about, this is just me. I just have to be as good as me. And I think Kent was saying that students have to defend their work. Why shouldn't the pros? And I think you should. I think you should be able to defend to some extent, but there are some comments that are non-defendable, right, yeah. I guess. So what do you think about that?
I would say defend your work only if you really need to. I feel like I've gotten comments before where people will say something that has no relevance or that has a negative connotation or something like that. And in which case I don't reply to them. I don't give them the time of day. Because why feed into their negativity, or why feed into that? There's no need for you to waste your time. There's no need to waste your energy. But I feel like, sure, it's good to defend your work only when the time comes, only when you truly feel like, yes, I made this decision for this reason because of this, blah, blah, blah. But most of the time, on social media, at least, I feel like there's really no reason to defend your work because it's social media. If you're having a portfolio review or something, you're talking face to face with a human being. I think it's different. It just depends on the situation.
Right. So this is the thing.
Yeah,
Eric?
The bottom part of it got cut off, but yeah, that's it.
Oh, right. That's great.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, probably. I mean, the hands are hard.
Yeah. I'm experimenting with different styles because, you could go super realism with like exactly what you see, but that's sort of how I was taught how to draw, how we're all taught how to draw in art class, in high school or middle school. But I think my favorite illustrators are the ones that take what they see and they translate it through their own perspective.
Right. Some of your faces sort of have a Picasso-esque kind of feel.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Since the quote is Picasso, I wanted to play off of that because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just copying right now, or like using people as reference, which is why I haven't probably shared this yet. It was also for work. I did this at my job, so I can't really share it publicly yet. Whoops. So
right.
That's good.
Well, they won't be able to see it on the YouTube. It's just now. That's the only time. So yeah, it's gone. Doc Reed says, one idea that I've heard in the past is that too much focus has been put on sketchbooks as finished pieces instead of it being an exercise in exploration. It's a place for you to explore ideas and ways of executing with new and old tools. And I definitely think that's a really good way. My sketchbooks are full of other stuff, but I don't want to student of mine to be like, oh, well, let's see yours, thinking that mine's going to be this immaculate thing. But I look at other people's and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's all these nuggets of things, but they're not perfect pieces. It's just like the thing you just showed that you weren't supposed to show. I think that sometimes those things are really amazing because, it's like, it doesn't look absolutely perfect. Like to be realistic drawers, right? As what we were kind of taught. That's the first step. But really what shows creativity and ingenuity is to do something different, but still get the point across, right? I still knew it was a guy skateboarding. I still knew there were an apple and hands and people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I think is more important.
It's funny because I share those sketchbook posts, and what people don't know is that the spread before that looks like garbage. It's all scribbles. Like, I could show you how messy my sketches are. Scott knows. I use a lot of tracing paper when I'm doing a finished piece. It's tough for me to get the sketchbook to look like presentable, but I don't want to share messy stuff because I don't want people to think I have subpar work. I probably should make a page on my website that just has really rough stuff only,
Because for me, that's really important to see. Like, it's really nice that Bob doesn't go back and delete all those old ones. Like you can still go back and see because it gives some people hope that they can get there with enough practice.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I don't delete mine either. Because even though I really want to, because I hate everything that I made 2 years ago. But it's really nice to see. If you scroll to the bottom of my feed, you can see the garbage I was making, and then you can see how that evolution has taken place over time. Like, it doesn't just happen in an instant. And I feel like that's what I'm trying to voice to people is like, this is going to take time no matter what.
Yeah, I share a lot of.
And
sorry, go ahead.
Here's hope. No, I just said
definitely.
There's hope.
And I think it's just a matter of where you're putting the rough things. I actually have been using Snapchat a lot lately to share my process. And most of what I share on there is just rough, and maybe I'll share the finished piece, but that's always really fun for me to get people to see the entire process because it's more transparent on there.
Yeah, and Jeffy says that the love seeing creative process, and me too. Like, that's kind of like getting into what's helped you in your side projects and in your life, and as a designer going forward, what has helped everybody that I have on Design Recharge. I think that's really helpful because everybody goes at it at a different way, and we definitely want to know if there's some tricks, but really it's about just keep going, just keep trying, and you will get better. But don't do it in a vacuum. Get out there, put it out there, show people, and then know who you're going to take criticism from, so that you're not just listening to all the haters, right?
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree.
All right, so we're like 2 minutes. We have 2 minutes. So you
Right there.
All right, so Eric, what's next for you? When does Summer of Sketching start? Like, do you have an official Memorial Day as a start, or is it now?
It's now. It started. You can go to summerofsketching.com if you want to learn more about it. And I'm selling these sweet pencils on my website too.
I've got mine.
And some sketchbooks too. Check that out.
I have a question. Thank you. So I love this pencil, and I'm going to buy one for a couple friends of mine. But how do I sharpen it? Because it's thicker than my pencil sharpener, and it's a different. And it's like, can you hold it to the camera? Because it's like a 3Z.
Yeah, it's like a triangle almost.
Yeah. It'll work.
Yeah,
it'll work in a jumbo sharpener, or you can choose a knife.
Yeah, I would say a utility knife.
Yeah, I like the really sharp point anyway. So,
ooh,
do it the old-fashioned way.
I'd be broken in a second.
To answer your question,
me.
I haven't. It's sort of a soft launch right now. I haven't officially announced the challenge. The challenge is going to be, every weekend going out and sketching somewhere. Fill up a sketchbook throughout the summer, and then at the end of the summer, I'm going to encourage people to turn their sketches into something else, like a logo or a T-shirt or something.
Have you ever thought about doing the sketchbook project?
Yeah, it's funny.
Where
I
you
actually had a
donate?
meeting with those guys a couple of years ago, but I have yet to collaborate with them. Maybe that would be fun. I'm going to keep doing my thing, and maybe next summer I'll bring more people in on it. I've been collaborating with the pencil store. They help me a lot with this, and there's a really sweet pencil store if you're ever in New York. It's called CW Pencils. They help me with the giveaway and also with the sketchbook company Bear and Fig. So
I think your cat's taking a bath again.
there we go.
Oh, yeah.
Looking good. Clean it up.
I saw a little white.
All right, yeah, Scott. What about you? What's next for you?
I'm moving back to Arizona. Yes.
And so what's in the works for you? Are you gonna freelance? Are you gonna try
I'm
to
going to
get a
continue
job?
freelancing until life gets boring or something, or I want to be surrounded by other people. I'm working with Winston. Actually, I haven't told this to anybody, but I'm working with Winston. We're starting our own type foundry. So we'll be selling our typefaces once we're done with, once we're done with Type of Cooper, and probably just working on that, selling typefaces, freelance work, just chilling, traveling. I don't know.
So what? So is Winston going to move back to
No, he's moving to
Louisiana?
Arizona too.
Oh, so when does he finish?
Winston, I think he's done in November, right? I think it's November. Yep, November.
So can you start the Type at Cooper program anytime? No. You're glad you weren't just here because I just totally spit on my computer. News, not the weather, Diane. Here we go.
No, so the programs are a little bit different, it seems. I don't know if they're going to switch the schedules around as time goes on, but okay, there you go. So I think it starts in January for Type at West. Type at Cooper East starts in September. Every program is a little bit different. Okay. The condensed program is completely different from the extended. I think the condensed program begins in a couple weeks, actually. So the condensed program is completely different from the extended in that you do the entire program that I'm doing in 5 weeks compared to a year. So that's even more work than I'm doing right now. Well, it's not even more work. It's just you can't do anything else with your life except focus on type because you're going to school from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. every single day.
Right. But they give you bathroom breaks.
I don't know. Probably not. I'm just kidding, yeah.
Catheters, everybody's walking down the hall with a bag. Or they stop eating altogether. It's like Survivor. All right. Well, fellas, I'm excited. I'm glad that you guys could come on a Saturday. And I appreciate everybody in the chat being here and really supporting us on Saturday, too. So that was really, really cool. And I always like talking to you both. You guys are really inspirational, and I'm really glad to know you. And I'm just glad you're my friends.
Glad to know you too, Diane. Thank you.
And I'm going to get me some pencils, even though it's a soft
just
launch right now.
Yeah, I haven't even posted it anywhere.
Yeah, I'll give you.
So
I have these little guys too, but they are.
Like I need to get closer to my computer somehow. Yeah, why was I?
Pins. They're pins. I'll give you some pins.
Well, where's the link? Where do we get the pins? That's not up anywhere
either. I haven't shared anything about that.
So what's the but you're just tempting us. I have pins. Hey, I have. This is not for sale.
What is this?
I guess it's a worm, but
it is. It's an apple.
Man. That looks like endless fun.
It probably looks bad, but I have a lot of toys on my desk, and I like that little guy. Anyway,
sorry.
But you can get this at a store, I guess. Anyway,
on that note,
I didn't make it. Yeah. You were like, why? That's random. It's Saturday. I can be a little bit more random today. Sorry. So, at some point, when will you and Winston be
launching that thing? We are. I feel like we're shooting for I don't know, January. We don't have a set date or anything. We're kind of just like doing things as we go, but probably, I'll have a lot more time once school ends and once I make the move back and get settled and stuff. So I don't know, probably January-ish.
So what's the name of it going to be?
Winston, should I?
You want to share?
No, we're not doing it.
Oh, look. We're not sharing that. Okay.
Oh, you almost slipped up.
Almost. I almost said it.
It rhymes with.
He said not yet. Ooh, all caps, not yet. I'm so sorry, Winston.
You just know it exists, so there's that.
Yes, it's coming. So I'm, and thinking about tags, they can do hashtag summer of sketching, and you can hashtag any sketches that people do this summer, and it doesn't have to just be lettering, right?
Yeah,
it can
I'm going to
be
be an
anything.
illustration, so whatever you want to post, just throw summer of sketching on it. I'm also going to be doing some tutorials and interviews with other artists on my blog, so you can check that out. And so, I hope to get as many people involved as I can this year.
Awesome. Well, I wish you both a ton of luck, and I'm excited you're going back to Arizona. I love Arizona. I think it's beautiful. I know you will miss your friend, but you'll get to see him every week on your Google. And,
it won't feel like I'm moving away, other than not seeing the city every day. So that
you won't be with Pocket.
Man.
It's like his best friend now because I'm gone like every day now.
Yeah, Pocket and I hang out 24/7. So.
He calls her a potato.
I bet.
Before he goes to bed every night, potato.
I say, bye, potato.
So weird.
Why?
Because she sits on the couch like a potato.
Couch potato.
She's a couch potato.
I can't see her now.
That's all she does all day.
She
just sits there, and then when I go to bed, she's in the same position.
Did you know that lions sleep 23 hours a day?
I did not know that, but that explains this.
So she's a little
that explains why
lion.
I've never seen a lion in Brooklyn. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. All right. So thank you guys. And just so everybody remembers, next week, no show. We did it today. And so if they want to catch you, Scott, your hashtag is you bring fire. And then you also have Scott Biersack, BIERSACK.com. And then Eric is EF as in Frank, but not Frank. EFDOT is his handle on somethings, right? On Instagram for sure. F.studio, one studio, not studios.com.
Okay, thanks.
I think I was trying to write it down. And I don't know where I put it. Anyway, so you guys can follow them there. And if you have questions for me, or you want to give me suggestions of other people to have on the show, I would love to have, people on that you guys want to see. And so just email me at diane@designrecharge.org. And you can misspell Diane. You can spell it with not even spelling Diane. It'll come to me because I have them all bounced to me. So anyway, Austin, this what you missed. We started an hour ago.
Well, thanks so much to everybody who could make it out, even just for a little bit. Really appreciate you guys coming out, asking questions and stuff.
Thank you.
You guys are all awesome.
Thank you guys for just being you, and just keep being positive and sharing the message.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.